In the film The Godfather, Michael Corleone famously says,
"It's not personal, son. It's strictly business."
But in Hollywood, getting fired from a movie role can feel very personal indeed. Today, we're diving into the dramatic world of actors who got the boot mid-production. From creative differences to on-set feuds, these stories will make you see some of your favorite films in a whole new light. And our number one pick? Let's just say it's a decision that left both fans and industry insiders stunned. So grab your popcorn and get ready for some behind-the-scenes drama that rivals anything you've seen on the big screen. 20. Natalie Portman, Romeo plus Juliet. In 1996, a young Natalie Portman was cast as Juliet in Baz Luhrmann's modern adaptation of Romeo plus Juliet. However, her involvement in the project was short-lived due to concerns about the age difference between her and her co-star, Leonardo DiCaprio. Portman, who was just 14 at the time, was deemed too young to play opposite the 21-year-old DiCaprio. The studio executives were particularly worried about the optics of their on-screen romance. Portman later recalled the situation in a New York Times interview, saying, "Fox said it looked like Leonardo DiCaprio was molesting me when we kissed." This decision highlights the delicate balance filmmakers must strike when dealing with age-sensitive content, especially involving younger actors. The role ultimately went to Claire Danes, who was 17 at the time of filming. Despite this early setback, Portman's career continued to flourish, and she went on to become one of Hollywood's most respected actors. 19. Terrence Howard, Iron Man 2.
It turns out that the person that I helped become Iron Man, when it was time to re-up for the second one, took the money that was supposed to go to me and pushed me out. And I called my friend that I helped get the first job, and he didn't call me back for 3.
Iron Man 2. Terrence Howard's departure from the Marvel Cinematic Universe after the first Iron Man film was a subject of much speculation in Hollywood. Howard, who played James Rhodey Rhodes, was notably absent from the sequel, replaced by Don Cheadle. The actor has been vocal about his side of the story, claiming that he was pushed out due to salary disputes. In an appearance on Watch What Happens Live, Howard stated, "It turns out that the person I helped become Iron Man, when it was time to re-up for the second one, he took the money that was supposed to go to me and pushed me out." While Howard's claims about Robert Downey Jr. involvement in his departure have never been confirmed, the situation highlights the often complex and sometimes contentious nature of contract negotiations in big-budget franchises. Despite the controversy, the recasting didn't seem to negatively impact the franchise, with Cheadle going on to portray War Machine in multiple MCU films. 18. Judy Garland, Valley of the Dolls.
If you talk to me, I'll...
Sound take 833.
The firing of Judy Garland from Valley of the Dolls in 1967 marks one of the more tragic instances in Hollywood history. Garland, a legendary performer known for her role in The Wizard of Oz, was cast as Helen Lawson. However, her struggles with alcohol and substance abuse led to her dismissal from the project. Patty Duke, who co-starred in the film, later recounted the circumstances surrounding Garland's departure. At a 2009 event, Duke said, "She was charming and funny. Oh, very funny. But she was having a problem with alcohol, and I don't know about other things." So the director, who was the meanest son of a bitch I ever met in my life, he kept Judy waiting and waiting. Duke went on to explain that Garland would arrive on set early in the morning but wouldn't be called to film until late afternoon. During this waiting period, she was allegedly supplied with alcohol, which affected her ability to perform when finally called to set. The incident serves as a stark reminder of the personal struggles many performers face and the sometimes unforgiving nature of the film industry. Despite her immense talent, Garland's personal demons ultimately cost her this role, which went to Susan Hayward. 17. Stuart Townsend, The Lord of the Rings.
Obviously, as an actor, you're looking for that, and you're like, this is wonderful. I get to
I get to be this guy, you know. I mean, he's written on the page like that, and now I get to go and immediately I get to fight this huge guy, and I get to win.
Stuart Townsend's departure from the Lord of the Rings trilogy just before filming began is a prime example of how last-minute casting changes can dramatically alter a film's trajectory. Townsend was originally cast as Aragorn, one of the central characters in J.R.R. Tolkien's epic fantasy. The Irish actor had spent 2 months in New Zealand, training and preparing for the role. However, just days before filming was set to begin, director Peter Jackson made the decision to replace him. Townsend later told Entertainment Weekly, "I was there rehearsing and training for 2 months, then was fired the day before filming began." The official reason given for Townsend's departure was that Jackson felt they needed an older actor for the role. Viggo Mortensen, who was in his early 40s at the time, was quickly brought in to replace the then 26-year-old Townsend. This casting change had a significant impact on the trilogy, with Mortensen's portrayal of Aragorn becoming one of the most beloved aspects of the films. While it was undoubtedly a disappointment for Townsend, the incident serves as a reminder of how crucial casting decisions can be to a film's success. 16. Samantha Morton, Her.
Hello, my name is Samantha Morton. I'm an actor.
Samantha Morton's replacement in Spike Jonze's Her is a unique case of an actor being recast after the film had already been shot. Morton had recorded all of her dialogue as the AI voice Samantha opposite Joaquin Phoenix. However, during post-production, Jonze realized that the character needed a different quality than what they had initially envisioned. Jones explained the situation to Vulture, saying, "Samantha was with us on set and was amazing. It was only in post-production, when we started editing, that we realized that what the character movie needed was different from what Samantha and I had created together." This led to the difficult decision to recast the role, with Scarlett Johansson ultimately providing the voice of Samantha. The situation highlights the unique challenges of voice acting, particularly in a role where the character is never seen on screen. It also demonstrates how a director's vision for a film can evolve even after principal photography is complete. Despite the recasting, Jones maintained his respect for Morton, stating, "I love Samantha. I've been friends with her forever, and I hope we make lots of things together in the future." 15. James Remar, Aliens. James Remar's departure from James Cameron's Aliens is a cautionary tale of sorts about the dangers of substance abuse in the entertainment industry. Remar was initially cast as Corporal Dwayne Hicks, a pivotal role in the sci-fi action sequel. However, about a month into filming, Remar was arrested for drug possession after police raided his apartment in London. This incident led to his dismissal from the project. Years later, Remar opened up about the situation on the Sidebar podcast, saying, "I had a terrible drug problem, but I got through it. I had a great career and personal life and messed it up with a terrible drug habit." The actor expressed regret over screwing over so many people, particularly screenwriter Walter Hill, who had championed him for the role. Interestingly, there were reports of another incident that may have contributed to Remar's firing. He allegedly fired a prop gun on set, leaving a hole in the wall of the neighboring Little Shop of Horrors set. Remar was replaced by Michael Biehn, who went on to deliver a memorable performance as Hicks. Despite this setback, Remar managed to beat his addiction and went on to have a successful career in film and television. 14. Eric Stoltz, Back to the Future.
Marty, I'm sorry, but the only power source capable of generating 1.21 gigawatts of electricity is a bolt of lightning.
The recasting of Marty McFly in Back to the Future is one of the most famous instances of an actor being replaced after filming had begun. Eric Stoltz was originally cast in the now legendary role and had filmed for several weeks before the decision was made to replace him with Michael J. Fox. Director Robert Zemeckis and writer Bob Gale realized that Stoltz's dramatic approach to the character wasn't aligning with the comedic tone they envisioned for the film. They made the not-so-easy decision to recast the role, even though it meant reshooting several weeks' worth of footage. According to the book, We Don't Need Roads, the making of the Back to the Future trilogy, the decision wasn't taken lightly. Cinematographer Dean Cundy recalled signs of the impending change. There were signs, especially the last week or so, when we would set up a shot and we would shoot Chris Lloyd's angle, but we wouldn't do the reverse on Marty. I'd say, "Don't we need the angle?" And Bob would say, no, let's not worry about that. The recasting proved to be the right decision, as Michael J. Fox's portrayal of Marty McFly became iconic, and Back to the Future went on to be a massive success. This incident stands as a reminder of the importance of chemistry and tone in filmmaking, sometimes necessitating difficult decisions even after production has begun. 13. Megan Fox, Transformers, Dark of the Moon.
I had not seen Megan for about 8 months or so since Transformers 2, and when I saw her, she just didn't look like Michaela. It was just, I guess Hollywood sometimes has a way of casting a spell on women that they have to change their...
Megan Fox's departure from the Transformers franchise before the third installment, Dark of the Moon, was a result of a public feud with director Michael Bay. Fox, who had starred in the first two films, made some controversial comments about Bay in an interview, comparing him to Hitler on set. The decision to fire Fox reportedly came from executive producer Steven Spielberg. Michael Bay recounted the incident to GQ in 2011, saying, "You know the Hitler thing." Steven said, "Fire her right now." This incident highlights the potential consequences of public criticism in Hollywood, especially when it involves high-profile projects and influential figures. Fox's comments, while meant to express frustration with Bay's directing style, ultimately cost her a role in a major franchise. The situation also sparked discussions about power dynamics in Hollywood and the expectations placed on actors, particularly young women, to maintain a certain public image. Despite this setback, Fox's career continued, and she even reconciled with Bay years later, working with him on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles films. 12. Ryan Gosling, The Lovely Bones.
What's one thing that makes you think I have to do this movie?
It shoots in LA, and I don't have to take my shirt off.
Ryan Gosling's departure from Peter Jackson's The Lovely Bones is a prime example of creative differences leading to a last-minute recasting. Gosling had been cast as Jack Salmon, the grieving father in the film adaptation of Alice Sebold's novel. However, his approach to the character differed significantly from the director's vision. Gosling, known for his method-acting approach, had gained 60 pounds for the role by drinking melted ice cream. He believed this physical transformation was necessary to portray a man in his mid-30s with a 14-year-old daughter. However, this interpretation didn't align with Jackson's vision for the character. In an illuminating interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Gosling explained the situation. "We didn't talk very much during the pre-production process, which was the problem. It was a huge movie, and there's so many things to deal with, and he couldn't deal with the actors individually. I just showed up on set, and I had gotten it wrong." The miscommunication led to Gosling being replaced by Mark Wahlberg just days before filming was set to begin. This incident highlights the importance of clear communication between actors and directors during pre-production, especially when it comes to character interpretation. 11. Jean-Claude Van Damme, Predator.
I told them it wouldn't work. They wanted to just tell the guy to hop around like a frog, and it was Jean-Claude Van Damme who had no idea what he was getting into. He was just off the boat from Brussels. He thought he was going to show his martial arts abilities to the world.
Jean-Claude Van Damme's brief involvement with Predator is a lesser-known Hollywood story that highlights the physical challenges of certain roles. Van Damme was initially cast to play the alien creature, but his time on the project was short-lived due to issues with the costume and the physical demands of the role. In a candid interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Van Damme described the difficulties he faced. "My head was in the neck, my hands were in the forearms, and there were cables attached to my fingers to move the creature's head and jaws. My feet were in his calves, so I was on stilts. It was a disgusting outfit." The actor claimed that producer Joel Silver asked him to perform stunts that were unsafe given the restrictive nature of the costume. Van Damme recalled saying, "This is impossible, Joel. I think we're going to have a problem." However, some crew members have disputed this version of events. First Assistant Director Bo Marks stated that the decision to redesign the creature came from the studio after seeing initial footage. The redesign led to the casting of Kevin Peter Hall, a much taller actor, to portray the Predator. This incident illustrates the complex nature of bringing fantastical creatures to life on screen and the physical demands placed on actors in such roles. It also shows how early design decisions can significantly impact casting and production. 10. Harvey Keitel, Apocalypse Now.
There is a shot of Harvey Keitel in the film, for those who are interested, and it is the shot of Willard walking from the helicopter to the boat, and he sits down on the front of the boat with his rifle by his side, kind of sticking up in the air. That's Harvey Keitel.
The replacement of Harvey Keitel in Francis Ford Coppola's Apocalypse Now is one of the most infamous recasting stories in Hollywood history. Keitel was initially cast as Captain Benjamin L. Willard, the film's protagonist, but was replaced by Martin Sheen after about a week of filming. The reasons for Keitel's departure have been a subject of debate. Coppola claimed in his book, Coppola's Monster Film, The Making of Apocalypse Now, that Keitel was uncomfortable with the jungle conditions and didn't want to stay. However, Keitel disputed this claim in an interview with Insider, stating, "Well, Harvey Keitel spent 3 years in the United States Marine Corps in the jungle." Coppola's account in the book suggests that he felt Keitel was miscast. "I could see Harvey was very uncomfortable about conditions in the jungle. And I thought, not only do I think he's wrong casting, but what's it going to be like for 6 months in these difficult conditions in the jungle for a city guy who's afraid of it? I just decided to make this tough decision." The recasting had a significant impact on Keitel's career. He later said that the experience led him to almost quit acting entirely, as he became bad news in Hollywood and found it difficult to get work. This incident serves as a reminder of the high stakes involved in casting decisions for major films and how a single role can significantly impact an actor's career trajectory. Despite this setback, Keitel went on to have a successful career, starring in numerous critically acclaimed films. 9. Colin Firth, Paddington.
Asked because I was the last person. If there's a list of the people least likely to kick ass, I've been sitting at the top of that list for about 50 years.
Colin Firth's departure from Paddington is an unusual case of an actor being replaced after completing their work on an animated film. Firth had recorded all of his lines as the voice of Paddington Bear, but as the visual elements of the film came together, it became clear that his voice wasn't the right fit for the character. Director Paul King explained the situation to Entertainment Weekly. As the actual visual of the character emerged, you suddenly go, "This is just a young, fluffy creature." Somehow, it just didn't have Firth's voice. I remember him saying, "I'm struggling to find the voice." I was going, is it younger? Is it more enthusiastic? It slowly just became clear that Paddington does not have the voice of a very handsome older man who has the most beautiful voice on the planet. This realization led to the mutual decision for Firth to step away from the project. Ben Whishaw was brought in to replace him, providing a younger, more energetic voice that better matched the visual representation of Paddington. This incident highlights the unique challenges of voice acting for animated films, where the actor's performance must align not only with the character's personality, but also with their visual representation. It also demonstrates the importance of flexibility in the filmmaking process, even in the later stages of production. 8. Lori Petty, Demolition Man.
Oh, I'm so pretty. I'm gonna hit you so hard, your children will be born bruised. Get up! Pal!
Lori Petty's firing from Demolition Man just a few days into filming is a case that highlights the importance of on-set chemistry in action films. Petty was originally cast as Lieutenant Lenina Huxley opposite Sylvester Stallone, but was quickly replaced by Sandra Bullock. While producer Joel Silver cited creative differences as the reason for Petty's departure, the actress herself attributed it to a personality clash with Stallone. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, Petty stated, "Sly and I were like oil and water." The incident left a lasting impression on Petty. She later told the Daily Beast, "It was the most uncool day in Hollywood for me. I just treat people the way I want to be treated, so I'd rather not gossip about Joel's unkindness." This situation underscores the importance of chemistry between lead actors, especially in action films where their dynamic is crucial to the story. It also highlights the sometimes volatile nature of Hollywood productions, where actors can be replaced quickly if things aren't working out as planned. Despite this setback, Petty went on to have a successful career, starring in films like A League of Their Own and Tank Girl. Meanwhile, Demolition Man became a hit with Bullock in the role, helping to launch her career as a leading lady in Hollywood. 7. Kevin Spacey, All the Money in the World.
Had you completely cut the film already?
Oh yeah, I was done. I was delivered. I was walking away. I was already stopped.
The recasting of Kevin Spacey in Ridley Scott's All the Money in the World is perhaps one of the most dramatic and swift recastings in recent Hollywood history. Spacey had completed filming his role as J. Paul Getty when multiple allegations of sexual misconduct against him came to light in late 2017. In an unprecedented move, director Ridley Scott decided to completely remove Spacey from the film and reshoot each and every one of his scenes with Christopher Plummer in the role of Getty. This decision was made just weeks before the film's scheduled release. Scott told The Guardian about his quick decision. "My decision was almost immediate. I said, we need to redo this. I didn't agonize. I never dwell on a problem, only the solution." The reshoots were completed in just 9 days, with Plummer stepping into the role and delivering a performance that earned him an Academy Award nod. This incident demonstrated the film industry's ability to respond swiftly to serious allegations and the power of modern filmmaking technology to facilitate last-minute changes. Despite the challenges, the film was completed on time and received positive reviews, with many critics praising Plummer's performance. 6. Sean Young, Dick Tracy.
Hollywood expected big things from Young after films like Blade Runner and No Way Out. But over the years, with incidents such as a public feud with one-time co-star James Woods, she lost roles in films like Batman and Dick Tracy.
Sean Young's departure from Dick Tracy is a complex and controversial case that highlights issues of power dynamics in Hollywood. Young was originally cast as Tess Trueheart, opposite Warren Beatty, who was both the star and director of the film. The official reason given for Young's firing was that she didn't come across as maternal enough in the dailies. However, Young later alleged that the real reason was her rejection of Beatty's advances. Beatty denied these claims and maintained that the decision was purely creative. In an interview with the New York Times, Young said, "They put out in the papers artistic differences, like I was the problem. That really was the definitive cliff." She added, "My joke now is I should have just said, I'd love to, expletive, I'm just busy right now." This incident had a significant impact on Young's career and sparked discussions about the treatment of women in the film industry. It serves as a reminder of the complexities and potential abuses of power that can occur in Hollywood, especially in situations where a director is also the lead actor. The role of Tess Trueheart ultimately went to Glenn Headley. Despite this setback, Young continued to work in the industry, though she has been outspoken about the challenges she faced following this incident. 5. Julianne Moore, Can You Ever Forgive Me?
Of the character.
We've just been kind of rehearsing and doing pre-production and stuff, and I think that her idea of where the character was different than where my idea of the character was, and so she fired me.
Julianne Moore's departure from Can You Ever Forgive Me is an example of creative differences leading to a major casting change. Moore was originally set to star as Lee Israel in the biographical drama, but was fired by director Nicole Holofcener before filming began. Moore has been candid about the experience, explaining on Watch What Happens Live, "Nicole Holofcener fired me." So yeah, that's the truth. I think she didn't like what I was doing. I think that her idea of where the character was different than where my idea of where the character was, and so she fired me. This situation highlights the importance of alignment between an actor's interpretation of a character and the director's vision. It also demonstrates how even highly acclaimed actors like Moore can face rejection if their approach doesn't match what the filmmaker is looking for. After Moore's departure, Marielle Heller took over as director, and Melissa McCarthy was cast in the lead role. McCarthy's performance earned her an Academy Award nomination, proving that sometimes these difficult decisions can lead to positive outcomes. The incident serves as a reminder of the collaborative nature of filmmaking and the need for all key players to be on the same page creatively. It also shows the resilience required in the entertainment industry, as both Moore and the film itself went on to success despite this early setback. 4. Richard Gere, The Lords of Flatbush.
Some of the best scenes in Lords of Flatbush came from those improvisations that Stallone and Richard Gere did. Because there was friction between them, Richard was let go, and Perry King replaced him.
Richard Gere's firing from The Lords of Flatbush is a notorious example of on-set conflicts leading to recasting. Gere was originally cast as Chico, but his relationship with co-star Sylvester Stallone quickly deteriorated during production. The tension between the two actors came to a head over an incident involving food. Stallone recounted the event in a 2006 interview, and basically pushed him out of the car. Following this incident, the director had to choose between keeping Gere or Stallone. Ultimately, Gere was let go and replaced by Perry King. This situation underscores how personal conflicts can impact professional relationships in the film industry, and how seemingly small incidents can have major consequences for a production. The incident had a lasting impact on both actors' careers and their relationship. Stallone noted that Gere seriously dislikes me to this day. Despite this early setback, both Gere and Stallone went on to have enormously successful careers in Hollywood. 3. Holly Hunter, Chicken Little.
That in real life?
Well, I mean, I think, like after years, on the couch, with therapy sessions, I have to learn to tone it down in my real life, right. So that, sometimes I think I might be a little hard to take.
Holly Hunter's replacement in Disney's Chicken Little is a notable example of how broader industry attitudes can impact casting decisions. Hunter had originally recorded all her lines as the voice of the titular character, who was initially conceived as a female. However, a significant change occurred when Disney's then CEO reportedly said, "I don't want it to be a girl, I want it to be a boy." This decision led to a complete overhaul of the movie, including recasting the main character. Director Mark Dindal later reflected on this decision in an interview with Collider, saying, "I remember being told, girls will go see a movie with a boy protagonist, but boys won't see a movie with a girl protagonist." That was the wisdom at the time, until Frozen comes out and makes $1 billion. This incident highlights the gender biases that have long existed in the animation industry and Hollywood at large. It demonstrates how decisions made at the highest levels of a studio can dramatically alter a film's direction and message. The role ultimately went to Zach Braff, and the film was released in 2005 as Disney's first fully computer-animated feature produced without Pixar. While the film was moderately successful, the decision to change the protagonist's gender remains a point of discussion in analyses of gender representation in animated films. 2. Dennis Hopper, The Truman Show.
It was one way for me to say we're not working together.
Dennis Hopper's brief involvement with The Truman Show is a lesser-known but intriguing Hollywood story. Hopper was initially cast to play the role of Christoph, the creator of the reality show within the film. However, his time on the project was extremely short-lived. In an interview with Sabotage Times, Hopper recounted his experience. "I was on the set for like 2 days and got fired. Scott Rudin, the producer, had made an agreement with the director that he didn't want me to do the part, and if he didn't like what I did after the first day's dailies, then he would fire me. And they fired me." Hopper described the firing as a major blow, explaining, "I'd gone and really researched the part. It was really an unfortunate situation." The official reason given for Hopper's departure was creative differences, a common euphemism in Hollywood for a variety of issues. This situation highlights the precarious nature of casting, even for established actors. It also demonstrates how quickly decisions can be made in high-stakes film productions, sometimes based on very limited footage or interaction. The role of Christoph ultimately went to Ed Harris, who received an Academy Award nod for his performance. Despite this setback, Hopper continued to have a prolific career in film and television until his passing in 2010. 1. Jonathan Majors, Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Things need to be done, but it's been hard. You know, everything's kind of gone away.
The firing of Jonathan Majors from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU, in December 2023 stands out as one of the most significant and consequential casting changes in recent Hollywood history. Majors had been positioned as the next major villain in the MCU, playing Kang the Conqueror in multiple projects, including Loki and Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. However, Majors' involvement with the franchise came to an abrupt end following legal troubles. He was found guilty of reckless assault in the 3rd degree and harassment during a jury trial regarding allegations made by his ex-girlfriend Grace Jabari.
Consider this jaw-dropping surveillance tape where it appears Jabari is pursuing Majors after a physical back and forth in the SUV over a text he received from another woman named Cleopatra. And then the big moment where Majors is accused of pushing her back into the SUV. But
this verdict led to Marvel Studios swiftly cutting ties with the actor. The decision was particularly impactful given Majors' central role in the MCU's future plans. He was already set to star in Avengers: The Kang Dynasty. In 2026, a film named after his character. The situation highlights the serious consequences that can result from an actor's personal conduct, especially in the era of increased scrutiny on public figures. It also presents a significant challenge for Marvel Studios, which now needs to either recast the role of Kang or potentially alter their entire planned storyline for the next phase of the MCU. This case serves as a stark reminder of the interconnected nature of major franchise filmmaking, where the actions of one individual can have far-reaching implications for multiple projects and potentially billions of dollars in revenue. It also underscores the increasing importance that studios place on the personal conduct of their stars, particularly when it comes to issues of assault and harassment. Now it's time to hear from you. Have you ever witnessed a major casting change in a movie you were excited about? How do you think these last-minute replacements affect the final product? Share your thoughts in the comments below.